Hey guys. Oh, whoa. Where did you get those wide, shiny ties?
The new metrosexual line at Filene's basement?
We're metrosexuals now.
And you didn't think to clue me in.
Take a look in the bag, buddy.
Ooh. It's so shiny and scratchy around my neck.
That's 100% polyester, my friend.
So if I wear this, I can be metrosexual too?
It's not about your clothing. It's a state of mind.
And an unwavering devotion to Ryan Seacrest.
Now, I'm glad you're here, Jason. I've procured something I believe we can work into the show. It's a tape of some late-period Orson Welles television work. Stuff that never aired.
Oh, this is extremely rare and extremely depressing video. I think it was when he was really strapped for cash by the end of his life.
We're about to watch Orson Citizen Kane Welles in Who's the Boss.
Who did he play?
Single father and former Major League Baseball player Orson Maselli.
Tony Danza always said getting this breakout role was bittersweet because his success meant Mr. Wells leaving this mortal plane.
Alright, well they still have the van driving throughout the leaves.
Ooh, here he comes. Look at his ridiculous French maid costume.
And is that a magician's suit on underneath?
Oh, sure. Dressing like a magician was pretty standard for his contract starting in 73.
Vacuuming the rug, avoiding the credenza, watch out for the nice lamp. Oh, brother. If I can't find a replacement for Angela's favorite lamp, my fate shall be similar to that of whose name mustn't be spoken.
Surely you don't mean Macbeth, you big Italian-American hunk.
Mona,
Damn! I could watch 196 syndicated episodes of this.
Hold the phone. If this never aired, how do you have a copy? And before you answer, would you mind handing me that can of Diet Cola?
Oh, sure. Here you go. It's a bootleg videotape.
Are you kidding me? We could get locked up in the slammer for viewing unlicensed content.
Okay, Ralph Nader.
Let's see what else is on here.
No thank you. If you need me, I'll be checking out the kitchen, sitting quietly, obeying the law.
Yeah, okay. Ralph Nader.
We heard you the first time, and I don't quite get it.
No, not Alf. This dude played Macbeth.
Gabe, I'm a man of the theater. I've told you repeatedly never to speak that name in my home. It's bad luck.
I'd like to kill a cat with a glue gun. Uh-oh.
what was that sound, Alf?
Hey, Willie. You know, on my planet, lamps are considered more beautiful when they're in many pieces and, scattered into the rug.
Well, maybe on Melmac, but here on Earth, wives prefer their Tiffany lamps in one piece, and having the ability to illuminate a living room.
Tiffany? Ha! Why didn't you say so? Let's ask her to bring over another lamp.
Lewis, comfort, Tiffany, Alf. This is an irreplaceable work of art.
Okay, so we can't pull the old switcheroo. I guess that means I'll need to take matters into my own hands. Where do you keep the glue gun, Willie?
A glue gun isn't going to fix this, Alf.
Gee whiz! You don't think I know that, Willie? There's just something I need to do first.
Pause it for a second.
Are you crazy? How the heck are they gonna replace that lamp? Mrs. Tanner is gonna go ape when she finds out.
Hold on, wait a minute. There's a draft coming from the kitchen.
What the heck?
Jason jumped out the window again.
Nah, probably gonna rat on us. The rat.
He wouldn't dream of it.
Please, open up.
Nothing. I mean, what seems to be the trouble, officer?
I heard there's been some bootlegging. A whole ugly mess of inappropriate bootlegging.
Sir, we rent this condo. Maybe the bootleg tapes come from a previous tenant?
Well, I didn't say anything about tea-apes. And if you're so darned innocent, why don't you let me in the premises?
We gotta hide that tea-ape.
What's going on in there? You're not ejecting tea-apes, are ya?
Just a minute. We're not, decent? What the hell am I saying?
You're a wonderfully gifted vamper. Do not doubt yourself right now.
Thanks, Mike. Okay. Banana bread's almost out of the oven.
Perfect. That'll buy some time. Now go along.
Jason's grandpa's lamp. He's gonna go ape.
Ape or no ape, would you quit monkeying around?
I've had it up to here. I'm coming in whether you like it or not. I'm gonna count to 3. A 1. A 2.
Good evening, officer. Okay, the bootlegs. Out with 'em.
Care for some banana bread?
Sure, Hey, wait a moment. You won't be distracting me with the sweet-smelling banana bread. The tea-apes. Pronto, muchachos. Okay, fine. Enough of this cat-and-mouse charade. You got us. We were watching Orson Welles bootlegs in here. The blackest of super black market stuff. Sold on the dark web and pushed on the streets. Paid for with dirty, stolen cash, and no, it wasn't from a previous tenant. Just as I figured. Hands behind your backs.
Now, before you put us away, for life, I presume,
Likely life, yeah.
would you tell us who blew the whistle on us? It wasn't someone named Jason Time, was it?
Well, a man in legal terms, the complainer, did come to the station personally. However, he wished to remain anonymous.
Sergeant Boyle, do you need backup?
That's a negative, Dugan. It's just me and a couple of harmless metrosexuals. You know, a bit like the smartly dressed young man in the shiny necktie who ratted these boys out.
Time Mule.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your humble announcer for Time Mule, better known as the greatest narrator in all of human history, according to the New Yorker for Kids, December 1968. I usually accompany the main trio of hosts in their topsy-turvy antics of worldwide whimsy. But, unfortunately, the Time Mule boys were unable to meet their 40 to 60 minute runtime for this episode. As such, they've cheated and asked assistance from their many friends and enemies in the industry for some audible filler. Unfortunately, only a handful of these desperate requests were met, and quite frankly, they're all pretty weird and alienating. And when I mean alienating, I do mean alienating. Indeed.
Why, hello! I didn't see you there. I was too busy looking out towards the cosmos. My name is Buuu. I'm a Zeta Coolian, you know? The adorable gray-skinned guys from Close Encounters of the Third Kind who kidnap defenseless children through chimneys with skin-burning tractor beams. Yep, those were good times for everyone involved. Hey, don't give such judgmental stink eyes. We returned all our prisoners in the end. Eventually. Anywho, now recently, there's a so-called UFO whistleblower on Capitol Hill declaring all sorts of wacky nonsense about my people and all their spacefaring children of the universe. And in all fairness, with utmost respect, the dumb earthling in those hearings are full of cow manure! Stinky, mushy cow manure! No better than the smelly hides of a dying Zeldon fiend. I think it's only right that I set the record straight on certain matters involving my bug-eyed, gray-skinned people. So sit down, shut up, and listen up, hairless ape men of Earth, Boo, the telepathic terror of Tiny Town, is gonna teach you something fierce. Ahem. So, the Egyptian pyramids and every other architectural wonder of the non-European parts of the ancient world. You know those things? We space aliens didn't build those. You guys did. True, there were a handful of freelance aliens working on those sites, most likely as food caterers or interior lighting decorators. Beyond that, however, you humans made all those awesome buildings now long lost antiquity. Except for Stonehenge. Nobody knows who created that freaky place. Ooh. Now, the biggest question you humans probably have for a Zeta Kulian gal like me is what the hell is up with all the rectum probing and other booty-based experiments in deep penetrating terror? Oh my. Well, I could go into full detail on that, but the simple truth is that the reason behind the rectum probing is surprisingly complicated, confusing, and very, very boring at that. But I'll ease your fears about what we do in the shadow towards your hiney by stating that whatever the hell we're doing, it's not being done for evil sexual perversions. You sicko. Instead, it's done for science, and even more so, political peer pressure. Lots and lots of political peer pressure. Here's a little hint. Blame the supernatural wildlife of Japan for your butts being invaded. Let us get out of the proverbial gutter and into the fresh-smelling realm of technical engineering, space alien style. We Zeta Kulians and many other space aliens across time and space, including those filthy Zeldon dogs, are far more technologically advanced than you Earthlings are, as we've surpassed your silly obsession with digital watches. With that said, however, on an individual case-by-case basis, we are relatively stupid when it comes to understanding, let alone maintaining, said technology. Basically, most aliens suck at spaceship repair. You know, like how on your planet, everyone owns a car and can drive a car, but if it breaks down, they have to hire a mechanic to fix the car. Especially if it's a post-1990s model, which are basically digital watches on wheels. Yeah, a lot of space aliens are just like that, which is why so many aliens who crash land on Earth are basically stuck here. Again, like you humans, we all own spaceships. We all drive spaceships, but when those spaceships break down, we're dumbfounded and royally screwed. And no offense, your various human-based space programs are really crummy substitutes for a good intergalactic warp engine servicer. Fortunately for me, I can fix and maintain most spaceships possessing an Apexer-grade multi-engine, a real cherry in my opinion. And last, but certainly not least, is a question that me and my people get a lot from you Earthlings, and that question's, what the hell are you guys exactly? Are you like all creepy bug people, reptile-based, malformed humans from the distant future? Are you the devil in fun size? Why is the devil in fun size? Well, I'm happy to see that my people, the Zeta Kulians, are without a doubt members of the Galactic Cetacean family. That's right, folks. I'm technically a space whale girl because that's what cetacean means. Whales! And to prove this fact, I shall now sing in whale speak, accompanied by my good friend and distant cousin from another planet, the confusingly named Beluga the Baby Narwhal. Good night, Earthlings!
Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, each one she passes goes, ah. When she walks, she's like a samba, and swings so cool and swings so gentle, that when she passes, each one she passes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
McGavin stars as Kolchak, the Night Stalker. And now, Darren McGavin in The Night Stalker.
All right, good evening. Welcome to this month's installment of Time Mule at the Movies or whatever. So this week it was my pick, and we're just getting over the Christmas holidays. You know, I will admit to watching A Christmas Story every year because I love it.
I love that movie.
And I love it so much. And the big part of that movie, you know, as a kid, like I very much associated with like Ralphie's story, like just everything's going wrong and you just gotta go along with it and you snap, and then when you snap people still get mad at you. But now, like recently as a dad, I was like really associating with the Darren McGavin character, who's the dad, and I was just thinking about him, and I remember watching the show. It was a TV movie, Kolchak the Night Stalker, and it sort of combines everything I like. A hatred of vampires.
You're very famous for that.
Oh, I can't stand them.
It's on all your dating profiles.
Yeah. One, if you like vampires, click the wrong button. I don't know. So here we are. It's 1974. It's a TV movie of the week. Gabe, we'll start with you. Have you ever heard of this movie? What did you think going in?
I've heard of Kolchak the Night Stalker, and it's always kind of been kind of this cult thing that I've just always in the. I've never really looked into it too much. I always thought it was kind of like probably a campy sort of 70s show with like people in like costumes and like, you know, probably. I've never actually. That's just what I always thought about it, just like kind of a live action Scooby-Doo sort of thing. But This is the first time I actually sat down and watched essentially what is the pilot for the television show, but it's like a TV movie. I've seen a lot of TV movies, so it was like kind of, even though I've never seen it, it's very nostalgic for me to see, you know, like the that kind of 70s camera work, and then they would fade out to commercial and then come back in. I was like, and of course, yellow Kions everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
That's a trademark of television movies.
Yellow was certainly like in like that movie where what's that kid saw dead people. Bruce Willis was a dead people. Like red was like the key thing. There was like mustard yellow was some kind of key here. Like, that was
TV
the
movie
brightest color.
Those are the cheapest letters, apparently.
No, but there was a scene in it where Kolchak, and a doctor were wearing mustard yellow ties, and then later on, remember that lady who thought like, look, I'm a smart lady, I have to work at night, I have the ultimate weapon, I'm keeping a hungry Rottweiler in my back seat. She was wearing the brightest yellow pants, same color. There was something to it.
I think I know why that is, actually. The 1970s saw what is described as the mustard boom. Mustard was the #1 condiment of the time.
What?
And as you know, condiments are typically wet, and people were taking bites out of hot dogs and hamburgers, and mustard was spilling onto their clothing. So if you wore the color of mustard, and say you on your lunch break got a little spill on your mustard colored tie, you go back into the office, no one's the wiser.
Who's the wiser?
This sounds made up.
If you say I smell mustard,
look it up.
You think, hey, why don't you smell your mustache? You know. So yeah, Jason, how about you? What going into this?
I never heard of it. No memories were tapped into. Yet when I watched it, again, have no recollection of seeing it, but it felt familiar. It was a certain kind of thing, maybe a little left field of a lot of the stuff in this genre. You know, the setup wasn't, but then where it goes gets a little bit out there in a way I appreciate.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I haven't seen it in a while, but for this era of television, there's a lot of stuff I just wouldn't expect of this. So we open. We don't know anything. We're in a really looks like a kind of like maybe a motel room because there's a lampshade that's kind of bent. This guy's speaking into his tape recorder. Now this tape recorder is a big thing in the movie. I noticed it's a Sony. It doesn't look like a real tape recorder, but it is something that's kind of a sort of like his, like maybe where Columbo had the raincoat and would he smoke like a cigar or something? And like Telly Savalas had the lollipop. Well, look, Kolchak's thing is he's wearing like a Great Gatsby era suit and a hat. And he's got a dinky camera and a tape recorder that he speaks into. The camera's hilarious.
The tape recorder is how the whole. I think this is brilliant. It's how the whole thing is framed.
Yeah.
So you see him in the beginning, and he's listening back to himself, dictating a novel, which he has also written out longhand. And so he's basically just laying in a crappy apartment, listening to himself, and just kind of going through the edit. And that will tell the story as it unfolds. That's perfect.
That's a great storytelling device. Like, and you know, you kind of think like back on like detective series where they're kind of like giving a case, you know, like case by case, or you know, recounting what happened to him during this, you know, case. But like this is great because you're literally pretty much hearing like an article, you know. And you're seeing it happen on screen as well. So the narration doesn't feel like cheap. It just feels like they're just putting the images to the words, which is kind of cool. I really like that a lot.
I think the one error they made, though, if they can go back and edit it for like the re-release, he gives away in the very beginning that everything that he's writing in the book is kind of going to be swept under the rug. But I think it would have been better if you learned that at the end, because they go through the whole process. Spoiler alert! But they go through the process of why of why he's not gonna, like, no one's gonna like defend him on this story. You know, there's a scene they're like. And if you try to do anything, we'll throw the book at you.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Also, what I liked about the way they told the story is, or what I think was a missed opportunity was during the fight scene. Yes, there's a fight scene where he fights a vampire. I kind of wish, like, just to add a little bit of humor, if he kept narrating during that whole fight. And he would just say, like, hot damn, like he kicked me into the wall and boy, did it feel like a truck. Like something like that. Like, I thought that would have been really great to have, like, this intense scene with, like, this old man kind of being like, oh, man, he fucked me up.
Well, then we open, and we got this guy, you know, we has trademark. He's got his white shoes on the bed. That says a lot. It's like when the dude in The Big Lebowski buys, like, a pint of milk with a check.
Yeah, you haven't done that?
No, it just feels like, I know that guy. And it's like, this guy has this disgusting, like, I just saw The Great Gatsby. I'm wearing white shoes. That's what that is. But he's on the bed, and then he's narrating the story. So this woman's walking home. A lot of single women in Las Vegas. And boy, this version of Las Vegas, there's a lot of empty space in 1974 Las Vegas. It's almost as if, like, the tourism funded this, like, okay. It was like retrofitted. Like, can you fit it in Las Vegas?
Well, that was on Fremont Street. So, have you been to Vegas lately? Yeah. Anybody? Never been?
I've never.
So basically, just real quick, there's about two parts of Vegas. So there's the old Vegas, which is Fremont Street, and then all the stuff that's like, you know, the Paris and Bellagio and stuff. That's like half a mile away, and that's where like all the big stuff is. So Fremont's like Fremont Street, and like where this was filmed basically is like just like an old town Vegas. You know, it doesn't even look like that anymore.
Yeah, I imagine it's all like just completely different. But I think Fremont Street was, because I was just listening to something where they're talking about diamonds are forever, and I think there was that really stupid car stunt where the car goes sideways or backwards or something. I think that was supposed to be on Fremont Street as well, like in an alley. Maybe the same alley where they use a lot of full names in this. Like, to the point where I noticed they use full names, which must be a lot. So where Cheryl Hughes, who's just man enough to walk home, I mean, that says a lot there. That's the quote they used, was killed. And they had when it's supposed to be this killer who's coming after her, which is like, you know, sort of over the regular soundtrack, very 70s. And then the opening, and then I think it cuts to that, which I thought was great. Where they have the three doctors.
Yeah, I admired that. I noticed it right away. I was like, this is a really cool opening. Just like kind of quiet. Just these three doctors who are casual, like, oh, look at this. Check this out. This is odd.
And the camera is from the perspective of the dead body, so you have all the faces leaning into the screen, like looking down.
I think it set the tone pretty well, like immediately.
Yeah, she was completely and then the opening credits start over that. And the thing that jumped out to me was written by Richard Matheson, who is kind of a big deal in the sci-fi horror writing world. He wrote I Am Legend, which was made into 3 movies. The first, which I haven't seen, Vincent Price, The Last Man on Earth. And then it was made into The Omega Man, which I love, with Charlton Heston. And then also a movie, the version I love recently, past 20 years, I Am Legend with Will Smith, which is also great. He did What Dreams May Come, and the Twilight Zone episode where was William Shatner
really?
on
You
the
wrote that
plane,
one
and there was
too?
that thing on the wing. Yeah, what was the other one? The one with where Lee Marvin. I don't know if you've seen this when he was fighting a. It was a weird one. Where Lee Marvin was a boxer who had to fight a robot or something.
I don't remember that one.
But he's a big name in like that era.
That's a good resume.
Yeah. He's a big name.
Can we back up for a second to The Last Man on Earth? I just want to ask you guys if you did this ritual as well. But they used to have, I mean, at dollar stores especially, but at some grocery stores or like Targets, there would be these DVDs in paper cases, like no plastic involved, just a piece of cardboard and a DVD stuck inside, and they're always $1.
Right.
And I used to buy them sometimes if the cover looked interesting, or if I heard of it, I'd watch it. If I liked it, I'd keep it. If it was terrible,
Right.
you know, it's a piece of paper. You can recycle half of it. But Last Man on Earth was one of those ones I pulled, and it was pretty cool.
I should see it because, you know, I love that premise. If it's in Price as someone I like in theory, but whenever I have to watch them,
I love Vincent Price.
Because
you will really like him in this.
I think
it's sort of, I think, a realistic version of how you would become kind of used to the routine of having to avoid or like kill zombies. Like that you just like, okay, well, the sun's going down, time to do the thing I do so people don't break into my house, you know?
Yeah. And
all right, the sun's up, I'm gonna drive around and, you know, get some supplies before, you know, do it all over again.
You could adapt to anything. Right. That's interesting. So then we go. So here we are. It opens up. So it opens this thing. I swear I had to rewind a couple times because under this, it cuts to this gurney being wheeled away. Well, first the doctors say, oh, she's has no blood in her whatsoever. Oh, that's weird. Kind of file it away whatsoever. You know, it's kind of like an assembly line of dead bodies. They have to, you know, coronate. I don't know what coroners do.
So his opening scene, I swear I saw like a parakeet under the. No.
Okay.
Parakeet.
It was a cockatiel.
But here we got what I think is a major theme. He describes himself as an aging reporter. And this whole thing seems like a guy who is like, look, I'm kind of a failure at this job. As we go on, I will argue he is not. He is a terrible reporter. And like he's like, I can't, like, I wish I could quit, but what else am I going to do at this point? So he's just kind of like hanging on. We already learned he has a history of going from paper to paper, kind of like the DJ in WKRP in Cincinnati. Like, I've been up and down the dial, baby.
But was that because I thought I always attributed that he was like too pushy to the point where he like clashed with his editors. Like he was a good writer and he got all like everything, but like he was probably just butted heads with everybody because he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy who doesn't know the word compromise.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like ethics, I would say. Because they're at that thing. There's a number of press conferences here.
There's so many
insane.
press conferences in this movie. I was confused sometimes. I thought I was like, wait, is this the same press conference? Like, did Kolchak just go out for like a cigarette, fought a monster, and then came back? Like,
and everyone in there, like their faces look like just like tanked whiskey faces, bloated whiskey beer bloat faces, like, and they're all like they're not. I checked their ages. They're a good 15 years younger than you think they are at that point.
That's so funny because I was thinking about this movie as it went on, and I went, "Gosh, is this a sci-fi movie where men?" It's like reverse Logan's Run. Like, if you can't live if you're under 50, so all the men in the world are middle aged or later, and they go out with women who are in their early 20s.
That's TV, baby.
Like there were like every guy was like over the hill, as you'd say, and then all the women who were mostly getting killed were all pretty young.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we only saw them chase after him. I mean, that woman Kolchak has at first. We're not really sure what their relationship is. As we go on, there's that one. Well, we'll get there.
Well,
we'll get there.
Jason, you brought up an interesting point. We're just letting you know now. This isn't really a feminist movie. like it's very much
this. Yeah, it wasn't a high point for feminism on TV.
Like there isn't anything overtly like chauvinistic, but just know that, like Jason said, it's like 50-year-old men, very young women who are only there to get killed. So yeah,
yes. Made Roger Moore was our Bond during this era, and any of this would have made him look like just a gentleman.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when the timing is here, but I don't think the Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs tennis match.
Guys, I just realized something really bad. This review is going to come out during Women's History Month. we really messed up.
Well, it does say something. I will say, well, we'll tie it all up in the end. I'm ready for that. But, we go on, and there is a pretty crazy scene where there's a crime scene, and they're following just like a glass of milk, and the guy's asking the other cop to dust for it. There's like real funny stuff just buried in this really weird kind of procedural plot.
I want to ask a question. Like, it's usually when I watch movies with characters like Kolchak, where I kind of review him as a person. Like, would I like this guy in real life, or would I hate this guy in real life? I think it really makes me see the morality of some movies. Like a newer James Bond movie is like, I don't really like this guy. I'm interested in what he's going to do, but I don't like him as a person.
Right, and I often think that, like, just with the James Bond, like, who would I most like to hang out with? Would it be Connery? No, because he's kind of gross. Because even that thing where he's like shocking, because someone just got
if you were standing next to me, it was like, James, that's so fucked up.
What?
I think Bronson's probably the most fun.
That's what right. You got it.
I'd go with Lazenby.
You wouldn't be there that long. But
yeah, exactly.
Did he pass your test? Is he kind of like is a pain in the ass, but he's charming? That's kind of what I got out of it.
I don't think I'd want to. I don't think I'd want to work with him. But I think I would. I think I could hang out with him a little bit.
If he asked, if he asked me, I would help him. You know, I kind of fell under the guy who worked for the police department who kept giving him the leads. I think that's the kind of relationship I have with him. Also, he was kind of like the Felix Unger, not Felix Unger. Oh my God, Felix Leiter of this this movie. Like when he towards the end. I don't know. We're really trying to do it in sequential order, but when they're fighting the vampire in the haunted house, he just kicks down the door.
Oh yeah,
and just like.
It's at that point where he's like, he's not even reporting.
No, he shouldn't be doing that.
He shouldn't be doing this.
That was really dumb.
And also, a little pervert told him, what about that guy who told him where it is? I think I found a house. It's like, because he was peeping. He's a little weirdo. Sure, he found the vampire house, but that was by mistake. He's probably going, what's in this window? That guy's disgusting.
I think I love anything where the reporter type character or the amateur sleuth just shows up all the time and gets on the nerves of the professionals. I think
he's always there.
Whenever I see that, I'm just in love. Like, not you again. Or then it just becomes so tired. Like, well, I'm sure you already know that
Well, his buddy is that guy who's he's like just stuffed into his has things like pulling off. He's like the DA, that's like his buddy, kind of like you could tell, like, because he's kind of settled into the middle-aged world, and Kolchak's still out there, kind of acting, kind of not settled down, kind of like almost like he's living his 20s, but should find an anchor. But this guy, he'll give him hints. And at one point, there's a great line. He says, like, I'll take care of Kolchak, or something like that. And Kolchak, the narration says, what was it? Such wine from the mouth of the man who steals beer from me. It was
poetry.
Yeah. But this movie, the look of this movie is fantastic. It's like that Scorsese movie Casino. Which really what Casino should have been. It should have been a vampire thriller.
They should have had at least one vampire.
They should have dedicated
or
1 hour of the movie to Robert De Niro hunting a vampire.
I couldn't tell you what that movie's about now. You put that Lester Diamond character as a vampire. I remember a lot of. That's a memorable movie.
And this TV movie, didn't really get into the fact that it was a real vampire for quite some time.
At one point, it's like Kolchak's like, look, guys, from where I'm standing here, we got blood missing from a hospital. And when he robs from the hospital, did you see they keep blood in? It was like old giant glass soda bottles or something. It was crazy. And we knew, the audience knew it was a vampire for the cops. Like, did you see how that guy was throwing orderlies around? It was like, boom! I mean, the choreography, these choreographed fight scenes. Did you notice all the helmets on? Because it was like old wrestling moves where they knew they'd have to launch themselves into the air. That fight scene by the pool
pretty
was
crazy.
Pretty fun to watch because it was all like, yeah.
They shot him like 80 times.
Yeah.
And it's like choreographed. And then just like the pyrotechnics involved in that, just wow. Like I was impressed. I was like, dude, you spent money on this.
Yeah.
I loved when the cops were finally just gonna entertain the idea that they're fighting a vampire. And Kolchak comes out and he's like, "You're gonna need this." And he's got the cross and the stake, you know.
Oh, he's
and
ready.
Then,
I was thinking I should have that, and everyone should have that in the trunk of their car. Like it was like an old like leather like doctor making house calls bag, you know. And then there was there was a crucifix. It
looked like it was diamond encrusted.
Well, I bedazzled
this one's mine.
one. This one's gonna be mine.
I was up all night.
Sure.
What was it? And every time he mentioned his what was her name? Gail Foster. Because he always mentioned his girlfriend's name, Gail Foster. So she was up most of the night encrusting that. Right, and then he had like a steak. I don't remember what else was in there, but it was a vamp. It was
maybe a little hammer. Everyone got a hammer.
Yeah, but then that guy who, if we made it today, it would be played by Harrison Ford. Was he the mayor?
I didn't quite understand what his title was.
Yeah, he was kind of like the guy in charge of Las Vegas. I'm the sheriff.
I'm the president of Las Vegas.
But he has kind of like, look, Kolchak, he proposes him like a loser leave town match. Like if you lose, you got to go home. You got to leave town. Like, all right, but if I win, I get exclusive rights to this story. Oh, sure. But it would be played by Harrison Ford. I believe we made this today. You got Harrison Ford as that guy.
Yeah, that makes a good point though. That little part, there's so many different stakes in this.
Yeah.
You know, the guy is like he's close to losing his job if this doesn't work out. He's got some lady that seems like there's some problems. There's the case itself. His curiosity. There's people dying. He's got to leave town if this thing doesn't work out.
He also wants to propel this because he keeps saying like, I got to get back into like a big
This is
market.
supposed to be the big story that puts him back on the map.
Yeah, he's like, New York City, here I come.
What article about a vampire that nobody's going to believe is going to get him back to
a vampire.
New York City?
Plus, he's already reported on things he overheard just regular cops saying. There's no blood in this. There's no way a human could have thrown somebody this far. Huh? That's headline material. Yeah, he's got a lot riding on this thing. So he goes for it. Yeah, and then he breaks into this shack. He opens up the refrigerator. It's dark because if you're thinking, imagine what we do in the shadows.
Pretty much that house. I only seen one episode of that show. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, that looks...
Yeah, everything in this movie is brown, including the vampire den. And then he opens the refrigerator, and there's those giant glass bottles of blood. But here's the thing. There's a light in the refrigerator. A vampire would not have a light in the refrigerator. That's the one
another universally known
movie.
thing from Mike.
There's no need. It's all blood.
Maybe he wants, type A or type B. There's different flavors.
I don't think they like light.
He probably hates type O, but he's not looking at every bottle when he takes it out of that fridge. Which looked like a 1950s fridge that just has a giant ice cube underneath it.
Oh, for sure. But his awesome apartment, it was like a furnished motel room or wherever he lives. It's kind of great because he has an older fridge. But here's the thing. I feel like every character that I like, it has to have three things I've noticed. They have to have a place where they live in Las Vegas and like kind of a cool apartment, which looks furnished kind of cheap, but it looks over a pool.
And that's cool.
It's beautiful. I've never lived in a place that beautiful. A best buddy. You gotta have a best buddy. It's Gail Foster, his girlfriend. Plus, there's that thing he does with the mother in Christmas Story, which he gives the person he's sharing a scene with. He'll tee them up like, what? oh, come on. And the actress, oh, no, I mean it. And she, like, you know, he, like, tees up the actor next to him, which is pretty great. And it shows that it kind of makes it look like they have
it does.
More of a relationship.
I felt that closeness from, like, he does do that. I felt that closeness very similar to the one in Christmas Story of, like, it's kind of sweet.
And right. So I mean, that looked like a real relationship to me at some point. And you have to have food. So we have drinks and Whitman sampler, which was kind of a hard thing to watch. So there's this lady who's supposed to be, oh, I'm going to throw up because she's not like 15 like his girlfriend Gail Foster is, or 90 pounds.
Yeah, this scene was pretty bad.
And as we know, if you're not 90 pounds or 15 and you're a female, you'll love a full Whitman sampler, but they couldn't get. They clearly didn't.
Yeah, so they put flowers all
sampler,
over it.
so they just had flowers over.
They couldn't make a fake box of chocolate.
Number. Oh,
so
man.
you do get, both of you understand that Gail Foster was his, like, a sex worker, right? I think she was.
So.
That was just the one that he went to every time.
Oh.
And then by the and that's why. Yeah, that's why the guys were like, we don't want her kind around here, so we kicked her out of town. And he was ready to make her an honest woman.
And then she was like, ain't gonna happen, right?
Mike and I are too innocent for this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that went right over our heads.
No, that's right, because afterwards he's like, well, I put a want ad in all the papers for Gail.
Yeah, that's what the relationship was. That's why he was like. He'd grown accustomed to her.
But that's like a panic-inducing. I mean, you could just disappear back then.
If you didn't have someone's phone number, if they moved and you didn't get their phone number, you know where they were. They were just gone forever.
God, wouldn't that be nice? You know, just to disappear.
But I mean, the cops did set him up for murder, which
Yeah.
they did have a point. I mean, at one point he's going in to to put a stake in this dude's heart. Which, okay, he's a vampire, fine, but there's no law anywhere that covers you. Okay, because as far as we know, this is a guy they have papers on. Yeah, he's like 109, but I mean, we got he's a British citizen.
In a way, he was set up by his own hubris. The police were just like he will fail this challenge because he's too arrogant to do it the way we want it to. He's going to get the story first. So it was a lose-lose situation right off the bat for Kolchak.
Well, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Saying like, yeah, vampires are real and we don't know what to do about it. It probably won't ever happen again, but we don't know. We can't protect you. Yeah, of course you're going to keep it a secret. That's insane to just say that's it. There's no point. That's not helping anybody. The people need to know.
Why? It probably won't happen again. Also, if it does, they're on their own.
Yeah, this won't raise awareness. It won't be like, oh, next time this happens, we'll be ready. It's like, no, you're all gonna die.
Honestly,
I really don't know what he expected to uncover this. The police won't do anything. We can't do anything.
This really is out of our jurisdiction here.
We can't. We really can't just go kill people. It's weird, but I was like, I don't like what they did here, but I agree with them. Plus, you gotta throw like an idiot. Like, if there's anything they could do, is throw like crazies like Kolchak in the way of these vampires just to distract them a little bit. What else can you do?
Tire him out.
Yeah, right. Except wait for another crazy to roll into town. Hang on to him until, like, I don't know, werewolf comes to Las Vegas, and then throw him in the way of tire the werewolf out.
Before we started recording this, we were having a conversation, and guys, the shit that we talk about
when you're not
the
here,
mics are off. I tell you,
it's Time Mule
that should be the
After
show.
Dark, uncensored, unhinged.
Well, no, I don't mean in that sense. I just mean we're just on. We're just when the mics are off, we're on.
There's some people like when I had Charles Grodin on the show. When the cameras were off, he was off. But there's certain people like Robin Williams.
That recording light goes on.
He was on. Yeah. That means he was always not off. Continue.
Well, we were talking a little bit about modern police procedurals and their setup versus, and Mike pointed out that this era, early 70s, you just had all these rogues in the world of detecting, or people that were on a force that kind of acted, they had eccentric behaviors. You had Rockford Files, Columbo, Kojak. Of course, you had Mr. Night Stalker as well. But we're talking. But Gabe was saying that you have some
Y50.
Yeah. And Gabe was saying that you've sampled some of the newer shows from some familial interest.
Yeah, my mom watches like because we were saying that every show in the 70s was like that, where it's just one guy going rogue and like case to case. And now the trend like today is like police procedurals or like some sort of secret investigation team with another acronym. They have so many where it's just like it's an ensemble where they do have the guy who's like the head of all of it. Then they'll have like the hacker and the forensic person who's like they're all nerds, and like they'll have like the right hand man who's like going to have a relationship with his partner. That's like all the same as well.
Yeah, I'm conflating.
that explained about 90 of them.
Yeah, it's that one guy with the that one lead male with that low brow. Oh wait, that's all.
And of course, he's much older. He has white hair, so he's more experienced.
Just a little bit, just right there. Yeah.
But yeah, the difference, I guess, the current shows is that everybody on the force, they all work together. They all have their thing that they're really skilled at, but they get the job done by following the letter of the law and doing what they're told and doing what they're expected to do. And so, then these shows of the era that Kolchak is in, is you get things done by going outside of, the conventions of the job, or in the case of this movie we watched, you're not even supposed to be doing the job at all. You're
just like, this is something I got to do. It's kind of like that last generation, like the Korean War vets, kind of like that last, I don't know, American Dream generation. It's like, we're past our prime. These young people are coming in. I just can't get over that woman's a sex worker. I just didn't see it.
I mean,
does that ruin your? Does that ruin your tying into feminism?
Well, yeah. I mean, it kind of highlights my point that, like, at this point, like, you could just threaten a woman to go into hiding. There's absolutely no recourse. And, I kind of bought that. I kind of think that was something that could have happened back then. It's terrifying.
Wait, what?
It's like the mayor of a town or a sheriff
don't say
of
that
a town said,
on my...
I will kill you.
We're going to bleep all of that out.
I would have run away.
Because they're going to... People are going to use that in court of law.
Well, I think it's horrible.
So I got to say, if we're doing final thoughts right now...
I think so.
It's a product of its time. It's definitely a 70s TV movie. But all in all, I enjoyed it. It was kind of cool the way they told the story. It didn't feel like the people didn't care about it. I felt like a lot of care was put into it, and it shows on the screen. And if you love Darren McGavin, right? That's the name of it. Like, if you like Darren McGavin from A Christmas Story, he brings a lot of that his charm, that kind of character, his personality to this role, and it makes it really enduring to watch. or his performance enduring to the point where he's not a great guy, but he's charming enough to where you would help him out. I like it. It's not, again, it's a product of its time though.
I can go now.
I mean, would you carry on? Because that ending was really heartbreaking. It was kind of like, look, believe me if you want. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. And they kind of end up turning it off. And he's kind of like, I don't know. It's
I am interested in continuing watching the show a little bit. I mean, it did that. It did enough for that. What I'm trying to say. That did it enough for me to want to watch that a little bit and see, what other adventures he went on.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
I know more about that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my final thought is that I'm only one of 3 votes, but I'm thinking that effective April 1st, 2024, the Time Mule podcast becomes a Night Stalker review podcast where we go through all of the episodes of the TV series.
Yeah. Because, they do another TV movie that becomes sort of X-Files, which is, this show is very tied up close to, like a Monster of the Week type of show. Where I've seen some of that show, and they kind of work Vincenzo back in. And they work for kind of like an AP Wire, but for some reason, it's really cheapy looking. But it's like, Kolchak! First of all, we have to talk, before we end, I have to talk about this character, Vincenzo, who's like the editor's guy. Kind of like the police chief is like, you smashed up 6 cars and you're a horrible cop, but you're the best damn cop I've ever seen. And that's what this is. I mean, he's not a good reporter. He F's up everything. Like, no one wants this guy in their paper. He's like going to lose, advertisers. But he goes, you're a great reporter, Kolchak. He's like, no, you're
Don't
not.
say that to
don't
him.
Encourage him. And then yell at him later. It's insane. So all right, I feel like I've seen a little bit of the show, gone through that, the second TV movie in the show, but yeah, I definitely think I want to continue on, see how far I could go. It's now, if you're looking for something scary, but not really that scary.
Is this Reading Rainbow right now?
Yeah, that's right.
If you enjoy a scary time that's not really that scary, this show's for you. Ba-da-bop.
And the vampire is pretty creepy, but you don't really get to see any of the vampire. Why is he in Las Vegas? I feel like there's a whole nother story there. And if you don't want to hear about that story, then take my word for it. Kolchak the Night Stalker.
I only give it 2 out of 10 boos. That's the spooky meter.
Man, that's going to come back in future episodes. That's going to stick in my head, and everything's going to go off the spooky meter.
Point, point, point. And bones pop out the back, and a spring and a bat.
Darren McGavin, as Kolchak, the Night Stalker on ABC. You've done such a variety of roles, from The King and I, where you play the king. Captain Brassbound's Conversion was another one.
Or Perversion.
Right. Played Macduff in Macbeth. Isn't it going to be kind of dull being a newspaper reporter every week?
Oh, no, I don't think so. We're having a terrific variety of scripts coming in. And it really has to do with the kind of material that you're dealing with, really. And I like Kolchak. I like the character. Kolchak. And we have a lot of fun with him. And apparently the audience seems to like him from the, of course, the Night Stalker. And
they did very well in movies.
Enjoyed it. So we're trying to keep up that level during the coming year. I think we will.
Well, in Kolchak, do you believe in some of the things you do in the vampires?
I absolutely believe that there are things beyond our comprehension lying out there that we know nothing about.
In the early days, when you were just starting up, did you have an idol, somebody who was a big star that you said, I
No,
like that?
not really. I always liked myself a lot. I never...
Well, that helps an actor, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
I just talked to one that did the very same thing, Fred Williamson.
Oh, Fred!
Yes. That's definitely his philosophy. Darren, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
I'm delighted.
We'll be watching Kolchak.
Kolchak, the Night
Kolchak.
Stalker, yeah. And welcome to ABC.
Thank you very much.
Well, fellas, here we are again at the end of another fantastic show, and it's just like this question that I've been thinking about the entire time we were doing the episode, and I don't know if you guys think of it, but I just want to ask, like, just like, what did we learn today?
Well, you know, I think it's a simple thing that a lot of people don't realize. You don't have to throw every little bit of food into your garbage can. When you think about it. First of all, what you should have is a strainer that goes over your drain, your kitchen sink. What should go down the drain? Only water. That's it. And you should empty this. You don't have to put it in the garbage can because then it stinks, right? Here's what you do. You put it into a container, you put it into the freezer, and then when garbage day comes around, then you empty it into the trash can and it doesn't smell. It's a little workaround to keep a healthy home smelling the way you like. The Mike way.
I think the Mike way is going to be our new segment. Like I watch Queer Eye, and they always have a tip at the end. And I gotta say, a lot of those tips, you know, that what you just dropped, Mike, that was kind of mind blowing, very sophisticated too, many levels. These are like Queer Eye. It's like, hey, if you're going out somewhere and your shirt is long, tuck it in.
Let's just get it, or just wear it. Don't wear that shirt anymore because that's not a shirt.
Thanks, Tan France.
Yeah. Buy a shirt. Why would you buy a shirt that was too long?
Hey, sometimes there's a deal, or you find advantage.
You ever buy something online and it doesn't fit the way you'd like it to?
Yeah, you return it. I don't want to wear that.
I guess what I learned today is that I have a sicker mind than my two co-hosts. The fact that, or more cynical, I guess, if I believe both of your minds that the Kolchak's girlfriend was not his official girlfriend.
Oh, she was. You're right. You're right about that. I'm a rube.
Yeah, I just think that, Gabe, you can get context clues maybe a little bit. They're a little bit more readily available than they are to me.
Listen, I calls it as I see it. I grew up on the street. All right, not like you two. I had to fight off a lot of people on my way home. But, you know, I'm just a little more cynical. I'm a little more, you know, I get street smart.
I wake up in the morning and I say, it's going to be a great day. And that's half the battle. If you can get that going in your brain.
You know what? I'm going to start.
You know what? You just watch what happens.
I used to get Raisin Bran. I thought that was going to cheer me up in the morning because of the commercials. You've seen the commercials, but I think, you know what? Actually, working within myself to fix the problem is probably going to work. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that tip.
Right.
You know what I learned? I don't like when a T-shirt says stuff on the back. It should just be blank.
Yeah, I agree. I
learned that. I learned that.
But here's the thing: the reason you get a lot of text on your back is so people can read it when you're on your motorcycle.
So you're gonna read the In Excess tour dates from 1987.
How are people gonna know that you went to the NXS concert when you're on your motorcycle?
I think I have a couple T-shirts that say stuff on the back. One is a secondhand basketball T-shirt, like a school, so it has a number on the back. I think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
It had its purpose. And
we'll allow it.
And the other one, which kind of bugs me, but I can't get the shirt in any other way, there's this great falafel restaurant called Mamoun's. And they have, at the time when I got the shirt, at least they had 3 locations. And I bought mine in New Haven, so the back says New Haven on it. I think it's unnecessary, but I allow it. All my other shirts, just, nothing on the back.
This drives me crazy. Like, I agree with you. I hate designs on the backs of shirts. I actually got bamboozled by one today. I saw this really cool Street Fighter shirt. I was gonna buy it. Then when I lifted it up, the design was on the back, and that instantly made me like, nope. I don't want this shirt anymore. But what drives me really crazy is all restaurant t-shirts, every single one, the design is always on the back. And sometimes they have a really great design and I want that on the front. I want to display it on the front. But it's always, 100% always on the back.
Who do we talk to about this?
Who likes that? Does anybody like a design on the back?
Sometimes I'll be at TJ Maxx.
Yes, as one does.
I'll be combing through the mediums, and I'll go, oh, that's a funny little.
Look at this little sucker.
Smiley face on the pocket, just on the pocket. The little pocket square, pocket tee. Just on there. That's nice. I'll hold this up. And I turn around, and there's like a surfing elf on the back, like sticking up 2 middle fingers, like giant, covering the whole thing. I'm like, what? I can't do this.
And that's a good pocket.
I can't wear this now.
And that t-shirt with the pocket, boy, that's a good pocket. You can put a lot in there, huh?
Oh yeah.
Like that's like put a pen and a pencil in it and like weighed my neck down. I was like, bleh.
Yeah, you're wearing a V-neck all of a sudden. We should start a company. Hang on, this is a brilliant idea. And anyone listening, copyright, trademark, all rights reserves. Send us your shirts that have crap on the back. We'll cut the back off, and then we'll find the same color shirt. We'll sew it on.
You know what?
It's like one of those things you think will be so easy to do, like just sew it, and then you try to do. You're like, oh shit! Why did I? Think
I don't know anything about this.
I'm $250,000 in debt. I just been buying.
Mail these up tomorrow.
I have these useless solid color fronts of shirts, just half, just in a box. Oh God!
Why did I bet on myself again? When will I learn?
Why did I wake up and say it was going to be a great day? It's not.
All right, everybody. Good night. The sketch Buuu the Alien was written by Raf Enshohma and edited by Brayton of Branzant Films, and featuring Wyn the Rogue as the voice of Buuu the Alien. Additional voices by Cristal Time.